You send a batch of ad creatives to a client, and half the text in the images is garbled nonsense. That's the moment GPT Image 2 and Midjourney stop being interchangeable and start costing you real money. GPT Image 2 is built for practical daily image work. Midjourney is the artist's tool for aesthetic exploration, and you need to pick one. Alright, so test 1 is output quality, and I want to start here, because this is where the objection I hear most often lives. People say Midjourney just looks better, full stop. So I pulled blind user votes on Arena, artificial analysis ELO scores, and community-reported GenEvil success rates, and ran them side by side to see if that reputation actually holds up. On Arena's blind vote leaderboard, GPT Image 2 scored 1180 ELO versus Midjourney's 1150. Close, but GPT Image 2 is on top. On artificial analysis, it's 1370 ELO for GPT Image 2, and I couldn't find a comparable figure for Midjourney there. Text rendering is where it gets really one-sided. GPT Image 2 claims 99+% character accuracy, while Midjourney's text output is a known mess, and community consensus is pretty clear on that. Now, the aesthetic gap is genuinely subjective. Midjourney's artistic style gets praised heavily in community reports, and that reputation is earned, not just marketing. Subjective feel doesn't change the leaderboard numbers, though, and it doesn't fix broken text in your deliverables. If your work needs words in the image, GPT Image 2 wins this test, and it's not subtle. GPT Image 2 takes output quality, a leaderboard lead, plus a 99+% text accuracy score, versus Midjourney's known weakness. There is a gap that actually matters. That puts GPT Image 2 up 1-0, and the text rendering result alone was bigger than I expected. I know that text rendering failure because I've been living in these tools long enough to have it bite me on a real project. So drop a comment below if broken image text has bitten you too. Okay, test 2 is generation speed, and the number that kicked this off for me is 30 to 60 seconds per image. If you're iterating on a batch of 50 images, that's potentially 50 minutes of watching a progress bar, and that's Midjourney on standard settings. So let's see what the actual community reported times look like for both tools. GPT Image 2 on standard settings comes back in around 10 to 15 seconds per image. One of the biggest problems I run into when using AI agents is turning their output into YouTube content I can actually use to market my product. That's why this video is sponsored by Subscriber, a tool that helps business owners connect their AI agents to YouTube and market their products without spending 10 hours every week creating content. You can connect Claude or ChatGPT directly to Subscriber. It then analyzes your business, website, and YouTube channel to help you create SEO-optimized video ideas, scripts, thumbnails, and even complete videos that actually match your brand. What I like most is that every week, Subscriber gives me a list of high-potential video ideas I can immediately execute, and it can even help edit videos for me, with or without my face, including videos like the one you're watching right now. It's easy to get started, and you can try Subscriber for free using the link in the description below. Now back to the video. Midjourney is 30 to 60 seconds, so GPT Image 2 is roughly 2 to 4 times faster on standard mode. Drop to GPT Image 2's low quality tier and you're at 3 to 8 seconds. Midjourney's turbo mode is supposed to be up to 4 times faster, but the exact time is a black box, no published number I could verify. GPT Image 2 takes speed too. I expected Midjourney's turbo mode to close this gap, but with no verifiable time on turbo, the community data clearly favors GPT Image 2 at every tier. That's 2-0 and the lead is holding. Now, test 3 is pricing, and this is where the objection flips. You might be thinking GPT Image 2's API billing sounds scary because you can't predict your monthly cost. And yeah, that's a real concern. At 0.211 per image on high quality, a bad month of heavy usage can spike your bill in a way Midjourney's flat subscription never would. Here's what the on-screen pricing cards show. GPT Image 2 runs from 0.05 AUD per image at low quality, up to 0.211 at high quality, pure pay-as-you-go. Midjourney is a flat subscription starting at $10 a month for around 200 images and going up to $60 a month for heavier usage. These are completely different models, so comparing them directly is apples to oranges, depending on how many images you actually generate. The pricing structures are genuinely incomparable at a surface level, but the decision rule is actually pretty clean. If you generate fewer images and need API access, GPT Image 2's low tier at half a cent per image is cheaper than any Midjourney plan. If you're generating images all day, every day, Midjourney's flat rate is the predictable, budget-safe call. Pricing is a tie. The winner changes with your volume, so neither tool takes this one outright. Score stays at GPT Image 2.2, Midjourney 0 with 1 tied. So we still have style control and platform access to get through. And style control in particular is the one that could actually change how you work day to day. Because if Midjourney's fine-grained parameter system gives you control that GPT Image 2's natural language approach can't match, that aesthetic gap we talked about in Test 1 starts to look a lot more important. Test 4 is style control and consistency. And the objection I hear from Midjourney fans is this. Natural language prompting sounds easier, but you lose the precision you get from parameters like style, stylize, and chaos. So I looked at what both tools actually support on paper versus what users are reporting in practice. Both tools support style references and character consistency, confirmed in official docs for both. Where they differ is the interface. GPT Image 2 lets you describe what you want in plain language. Midjourney requires you to learn its parameter syntax, which is a real learning curve, but also gives tinkerers more fine-grained control. Watch the on-screen capability cards. The feature list is basically a draw. The honest caveat here is that Midjourney's unpredictable interpretation is genuinely a feature for some users. That's the part you can't control, and a lot of artists love it. But on raw capability, both tools do style references and character consistency. GPT Image 2 is more intuitive. Midjourney gives you more knobs to turn if you're willing to learn them. Style control is a tie. The capability parity in official docs is real, and ease of use alone doesn't flip this to a win for either side. Score sits at GPT Image 2.2, Midjourney 0, 2 tied. Alright, Test 5 is platform availability, and this is the one that bites you hardest when you try to automate anything. Midjourney has no public API, you're on Discord, manually prompting, or waiting for an enterprise deal that's not publicly priced. If you want to pipe image generation into a workflow or a product, that wall stops you cold. GPT Image 2 has a public API available right now, plus ChatGPT Web and mobile on iOS and Android. Midjourney is Discord first, with a web app for subscribers and no dedicated mobile app. For enterprise API access to Midjourney, I couldn't find any public pricing, is restricted to select partners only, which means most people simply can't get it. Platform availability goes to GPT Image 2, and this one surprised me most. A public API is a massive structural advantage that Midjourney just doesn't have for most users right now. That closes the scoreboard at GPT Image 2.3, Midjourney 0, with 2 ties. So when does GPT Image 2 make the most sense? Anytime you need words in your images, 99+% text accuracy versus Midjourney's known weakness, there is a pretty wide gap. It's also 2 to 4 times faster on standard settings, has a public API you can actually use today, and sits at number 1 on both Marina and artificial analysis leaderboards. Midjourney wins on artistic feel. Community consensus is strong that it produces more painterly, photorealistic, and aesthetically surprising results, and that reputation is real even if it's hard to put a number on. A flat subscription ranging between $10 and $60 a month is way more predictable than per-image API billing, and its parameter system gives tinkerers real fine-grained creative control. If your images need words or you need an API, pick GPT Image 2. 3 wins to 0 is the final score, and it's the safer daily driver. If your whole job is artistic exploration and a flat subscription beats unpredictable billing, Midjourney's aesthetic magic is worth the Discord friction. One thing the docs don't warn you about, ChatGPT's daily image limit on standard plans is only 3 to 10 generations. So if you're using GPT Image 2 through ChatGPT rather than the API, you'll hit that cap fast on a busy day and have no obvious way to know it's coming until the tool just stops. If you're also comparing video generation tools, I ran the same kind of head-to-head on Sora versus Veos. The speed and quality gaps there are pretty wild, and the winner isn't who most people expect, so go check that one out next.